A mountain may look strong, but it cannot flow. A sword may strike, but it cannot heal. A storm may roar, but it cannot nourish. Yet water, gentle, quiet, yielding, carves through mountains, outlasts storms, and sustains life. This is the paradox that most people never grasp. They confuse power with noise, strength with resistance, dominance with loudness. But Lao Tzu, the ancient master behind the Tao Te Ching, revealed a truth that has shaken generations of thinkers and warriors. The strongest man is like water. Not because water dominates, but because it never needs to. It bends, and by bending, it overcomes. It yields, and by yielding, it shapes everything around it. You might think of strength as hardness, steel, fire, muscle. But the Tao says, nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. Think about that. What dissolves rock over time? Not fire, not force, but the patient, consistent, flowing embrace of water. Water adapts to the shape of its container. It doesn't argue with the cup. It doesn't demand the cup change for it. It simply enters and becomes one with the space. And in this, there is wisdom. The Tao isn't about being weak. It's about understanding power on a deeper level. Real strength doesn't need to posture. It doesn't need to force. It doesn't need to prove. Water never screams, yet it breaks boulders. Water never boasts, yet it gives life. Lao Tzu teaches us that this is the essence of the Tao, the way, a path not of domination, but of harmony, not of resistance, but of understanding, not of control, but of flow. Most people fear yielding. They fear they'll be taken advantage of, disrespected, dismissed. But the Tao reveals that those who yield are actually the ones who remain standing when all others have broken. What does it mean to be like water in a world built on ego? It means moving around obstacles instead of charging through them. It means preserving energy instead of exhausting it. In battles you don't need to fight. It means sensing your environment, adapting, flowing where you are needed, and withdrawing where you are not. The waterman doesn't chase power. He becomes power, not by grabbing, but by allowing, not by dominating, but by becoming indispensable. He does not stiffen when insulted. He does not clench when opposed. He doesn't rush to defend his pride. Instead, he lets things pass through him like a river around stones. He knows that pride is brittle, but humility flows. And in flowing, he cannot be broken. The Tao says, the best man is like water. Water benefits all things and does not compete with them. It dwells in lowly places that all disdain. This is why it is so near to the Tao. That line is not just poetic. It's a blueprint for living, a lesson in posture. The strongest man is not above others, but beneath. Like water, he supports everything but asks for nothing. He doesn't shout from the peaks. He nourishes from the valleys. He doesn't demand attention. He allows his presence to be felt quietly, gently, until you realize without him, nothing can grow. This is why the waterman is feared by the arrogant. They cannot control him. He doesn't respond to their provocations. He doesn't collapse into rage or insecurity. He simply flows past them. He adapts, but never abandons himself. He listens, but never obeys foolishness. He reflects, but never absorbs poison. In this way, water teaches boundaries without resistance. It tells you, I will go around you, but I will not become you. This is strength. This is mastery. Water does not carry knives. It carries seeds. It does not march. It nourishes. It does not conquer, it endures. And yet it wins. Always. Over time. Over force. Over chaos. It wins because it doesn't need to win. It doesn't play the same game. It is not interested in hierarchy. It is interested in harmony. This is what most men miss. They think dominance is strength, but dominance is insecure. It is always protecting something, always fighting to prove, always afraid of being questioned. But the waterman has nothing to prove. He proves himself by existing, by remaining soft when others go hard, by choosing silence when others scream, by flowing when others freeze. And in that choice, he becomes invincible, invulnerable. He becomes the presence that nothing can shake. This is not about avoiding conflict. It is about transcending it. The Tao teaches that when conflict comes, the wise man doesn't rush to crush his opponent. He becomes like water. He cools, he waits, he watches, and in time, the heat of emotion dies down. The anger loses steam. The rigid opponent breaks under his own tension, and the waterman is still there, unchanged, unbothered, unburned. The Tao Te Ching tells us, do you want to improve the world? I don't think it can be done. The world is sacred. It can't be improved. If you tamper with it, you'll ruin it. If you treat it like an object, you'll lose it. The same is true of your mind, your body, your relationships, your mission. Don't rush to fix. Don't force change. Flow with it. Feel where the energy wants to go. Yield without collapsing. Let go without losing your center. The waterman moves with time, not against it. He understands that the deepest strength is not control, but alignment. Not pressure, but patience. And in this patience, he sees what others miss. He hears what others ignore. He becomes the man everyone returns to when their fire has burned out and their walls have crumbled. Why? Because he is the river, always there, always giving, always strong in his gentleness. Even in leadership, Lao Tzu teaches us to rule like water. The best leaders are those that people hardly know exist. When the work is done, the people say, we did it ourselves. The waterman doesn't lead with force. He leads with space. He creates the conditions for growth and lets others rise. He doesn't compete. He cultivates. He doesn't take credit. He empowers. And when he leaves, the system still flows because he didn't make people dependent. He made them whole. This is the Tao. This is the way. And it is not easy. It takes more strength to stay calm than to explode. More mastery to yield than to dominate. More wisdom to wait than to force. But when you embody this path, when you stop resisting the river of life and begin moving with it, something changes in you. You stop fearing failure. You stop chasing control. You stop grasping for identity. You become like water, always in motion, but never lost. Always soft, but never weak. Always yielding, but never defeated. Because the Tao lives in what bends, and the man who bends is never broken. The man who becomes like water doesn't stop having emotions. He simply stops being owned by them. He no longer rides the waves of external praise or blame. He no longer resists the natural seasons of his life. He doesn't panic in winter, nor does he cling to spring. He understands that everything flows. Success, failure, connection, loneliness, energy, exhaustion. All of it is part of the river. He doesn't fight the flow. He aligns with it. And in that alignment, he gains something most never find. Peace, without passivity. Movement, without anxiety. Stillness, without stagnation. Most people are at war with life. They resist discomfort. They cling to pleasure. They chase highs and curse lows. But the Tao Te Ching reminds us, if you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. The man of the Tao doesn't hold on. He holds space. For himself, for others, for truth. He knows that tight fists cannot receive, that rigid minds cannot grow, that proud hearts cannot heal. So he opens himself, not recklessly, not carelessly, but courageously. He lets life pass through him, not around him. When grief comes, he allows it to wash over him. When joy comes, he welcomes it, but does not chain it. When conflict arises, he doesn't stiffen into defense. He softens into clarity. He asks, where is the current trying to take me? What am I resisting that I need to face? What can I yield to without losing my strength? The waterman does not fear pain. He lets it carve him, because he knows every riverbed was shaped by the pain of erosion, every canyon by the sorrow of time, every depth by the loss of something once solid. He understands that gentleness is not the absence of force, it is the mastery of it, that yielding is not surrender, it is a strategy of the soul. You see, the strongest man is not the one who never bends. It is the one who bends without breaking, adapts without abandoning, flows without forgetting who he is. Lao Tzu teaches that when you let go of who you think you must be, you become who you truly are. Water doesn't try to be fire. It doesn't pretend to be stone. It doesn't fight for identity. It simply is, and that isness is its strength. It doesn't seek validation. It doesn't cling to form. It simply flows, and in flowing, it carves valleys, carries mountains, nourishes forests, and reflects the sky. It becomes the most powerful force in nature, without resistance. So what does it mean to live this way? It means you stop proving yourself and start being yourself. You stop fighting battles that do not belong to you. You stop controlling others and start mastering your own flow. You release the illusion of dominance and embrace the truth of influence. You speak less. You observe more. You move deliberately, not reactively. You become the calm in the chaos, the silence beneath the noise. People will misunderstand you. They will project weakness onto your softness. Let them. For as the Tao says, those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. Your power is not in shouting your truth. It's in living it so deeply that the world cannot ignore the effects. Water doesn't explain itself. It transforms whatever it touches. And so will you. Over time. Over doubt. Over ego. You will leave behind the need to dominate. And instead, you will radiate a presence so steady, so grounded, so clear, that people will feel safer simply standing near you. Not because you offer protection through might, but because you offer stability through presence. This is the way, the Tao, and it is open to you now. You do not have to become more to be strong. You must become less rigid, less reactive, less attached. And as you let go, you will realize the most stunning truth. You were never powerless. You were just frozen. And water was always waiting for you to melt, to move, to remember. That your strength is not in how tightly you grip, but in how freely you flow. That your greatness is not in what you force, but in what you allow. That your purpose is not in resistance, but in alignment. Be like water. Flow through the moments. Carve the stone. Reflect the light. Nourish the world. And when you are gone, let the memory of your movement shape everything that remains. Because the strongest man is not the one who controls, but the one who understands how to move with the nature of things. And when you live that way, you don't just follow the Tao, you become it.